I was in Syria when the Syrian uprising began in 2011 with peaceful protests across the country and a situation that the government then pushed into civil war, tragic civil war. And I look at this tonight with amazement. I don't think almost anyone could have foreseen this 2 weeks ago. Myself and I think most other analysts didn't expect it, and it is truly remarkable. At the very beginning in Syria, in March, April, May, even into June of 2011, it's a long time ago, 13 years ago, the principal demand of the peaceful protest movement was that the Syrian government respect citizens' dignity and that they hold security force members who committed human rights violations accountable for those actions and that they be prosecuted. And the Syrian government responded by shooting at protesters. So fast forward to 2024, many of the demands in terms of justice, accountability, freedom are still there. But unlike 2011, now they actually have a chance to build something. We hope that they do. I certainly do. But for now, today, it's a day for celebration among Syrians. Well, I certainly do. And I think almost anyone watching this understands the difficulty of rebuilding a state from essentially a state that depended on terror and repression to a state that respects citizens and allows essential freedoms such as those found in the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom to protest. It's hard. And what is in front of the Syrians is for sure a challenge, especially with a segmented political and armed opposition. So, but I go back to what I said. I think first there is a moment to celebrate, and for Syrians, this is that moment. Well, I think, frankly, President Trump is right that the United States doesn't need to get in the middle of this. I think Syrians need to determine how to build a better Syria. And really, foreigners need to give the Syrian parties, Syrian armed opposition elements, and Syrian political elements, and Syrian civil society. They need to give them the space to talk to each other and work this out. And when they want international help through the United Nations or other mechanisms, for sure provide that. In the meantime, 90% of Syrians, according to the United Nations humanitarian organizations, 90% of Syrians live below the poverty line and need humanitarian assistance to survive. We are going into winter. Winter is cold in Syria. It snows. So I hope the United States, I hope the international community continues to provide humanitarian assistance. It's as necessary now as ever. And as the Syrians develop plans for rebuilding their country, their economy, their infrastructure, and other institutions, when they need international help and they ask for it, I hope the international community steps forward. But let us give the Syrians space to work on that first. Oh, I don't want to go that far. How many Americans over the past years have said that we're going to reshape the Middle East or we're going to see events reshape the Middle East? Um, I would just say this. I think Syrians will earn admiration across the region for their patience and their persistence in opposing tyranny and opposing repression. And if they are able to build a better state and a better country, they will earn further admiration among peoples in the region. But beyond that, I would not want to speculate now on how this might change the region.